In looking at the holiday of Shavuot, we find something very fascinating about the time that the Torah itself was given. We know that the way it worked out during the Jewish calendar week is very similar to this year. And in fact, they say that the time of Yetziat Mitzrayim, Birkas HaChama, was like this year on a Wednesday. We know Klal Yisrael, the 15th day of Nisan, was on a Thursday, right? Pesach, Wednesday night and Thursday. And we know the Rosh Chodesh Nisan was a Sunday. And therefore, Vav Sivan, the 50th day, after counting 49 days, should be that the Torah should have been given on a Friday, which indeed is what we have this year. Vav Sivan, Shavuot, Thursday night, Friday, at least the first day of Shavuot is a Friday. And in fact, that was the original plan of creation, as we find in source number 3 on the pasuk in the beginning of the story of Breshit, Vayerev, Vayiboker, Yom HaShishi, and it was evening and it was morning. It was Yom HaShishi, the 6th day. Rashi brings down from our rabbis, it was on this day that the whole world was waiting for that great moment, Yom HaShishi, the 6th day of Nisan, a Shishi, a Friday, for the world was waiting for the Jewish people to accept the Torah. And if the Jewish people would not accept the Torah on this day, the world would go back, would revert back to Tohu Vavohu. Everything was ready for Vav Sivan, the 6th day of Sivan, the Friday for the Jewish people to receive the Torah. And yet we find the Gemara tells us, and this is source number 4a, that everyone agrees, B'Shabbos nitna Torah, that on Shabbos the Torah was given. It wasn't given on the 50th day of the Omer, it was given on the 51st day of the Omer. Moshe Rabbeinu adds, and this is again source 4, he adds, one of the 3 things that Moshe Rabbeinu does that Hashem agrees to, is he adds an extra day of preparation for Ma'amad Har Sinai. And instead of Hashem coming down on Friday, Hashem comes down on Shabbos. So then a number of questions ensue. Question number 1, which is source number 1, and that is, Ma ra'a Moshe l'nachon la'asot davar shelo yitzava bo v'losif yom echad medato. A technical question. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu doing something that he was not commanded to do? Why is he adding this extra day? Question number 2. If the whole world is waiting for the acceptance of the Torah on Friday, it's almost how dare Moshe Rabbeinu push it off to Shabbos, to an extra day. The whole world has been waiting from Brias Olam, for Yom HaShishi, for this Friday. And the third question, which is a very famous question of the Magen Avraham, if the Torah was given on the 7th day of Sivan, on Shabbos, the 51st day of the Omer, then how do we in our davening, in our Kiddush, say on the 6th day of Sivan, Zman Matan Tortenu, the time we received the Torah? We didn't receive the Torah on the 6th day. We received the Torah on the 7th day. How can we say something which is historically not true? And indeed, there are a number of commentators who explain that this is perhaps, helps the people out in Chutz La'aretz, that indeed they are celebrating it the 2nd day on the correct day, Zayin Sivan. But nevertheless, for those of us who have the schus of living in Eretz Yisrael, and for the first day of Shavuot, how can you say Zman Matan Torah, the time we received the Torah, when indeed we did not receive the Torah on the 6th day of Sivan? There are many answers to these questions. I'd like to look at 3. The first, just very briefly, just to round out our picture, and the other 2 to develop and to really see from this a mindset in how we can approach Shavuot this year, perhaps a little bit differently, a little bit deeper than in the past, by expanding our reality. The approach that Talmud Biyado brings in source number 5 from Maharal Tzonis is the following. The Moshe Rabbeinu, when he asked the Jewish people, do you want to accept the Torah? So in this crucial week, before receiving of the Torah, the people responded, Na'aseh v'nishma, we're ready. There was an agreeable, a ratzon, a desirable acquiescence to receive the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid that at the actual moment, when Kafa Aleim Har Kigigis, when Hashem would be holding the mountain over their head like a barrel, that the Jewish people, with the extreme sensation of receiving the Torah with this extreme revelation that perhaps they would change their mind and say, this is too overwhelming for us. And Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid that if this experience, that Jewish people would be frightened and they would want to retract on the receiving of the Torah, then not only would it have implications for the Jewish people, but if this retraction were to happen on Yom HaShishi, on Vav Sivan, on the day that God intended to give the Torah, not only would the repercussions be for the Jewish people, there would be repercussions for the whole world. The whole world would turn into Tohu Vavohu, into void and nothingness. So therefore Moshe Rabbeinu wanted that the 6 days should go by in peace, that nothing should happen. Let's leave everything alone. Let's just assume that the Jewish people are holding on to their Na'aseh v'Nishma, the original acceptance. So therefore, if the 6th day passes by in peace, then the world is not in danger. And then on the 7th day, on Shabbos,